So I think the first talk was our as scheduled Brahspati Maharaj, and he requested that you start, and he is supposed to give about mathematics, the queen of sciences. So upon his request we are interchanging. A journey into the foundations of mathematics. So the idea behind this is as follows. As I was explaining earlier, when the thinkers of a discipline went inside the specific discipline, then what are the things they came across? We'll see now in mathematics today. Okay, I will let us go through, and eventually, as we move on, I was thinking to give you a small background. Okay, this is Dr. Singh, as now by now you know that the founder of the institution, and he is the one who envisioned this, guided us, trained us in all these works, and so we owe to him everything, because of that was his vision to work on these areas of mathematics and spirituality. So our presentation today, we will follow this route. We will have a short introduction, starting our quest to comprehend reality, how mathematics form an important tool in our understanding reality, then how these developments in mathematics have happened. So basically we are planning to cover 400 to 500 years of mathematics in 45 minutes. Okay. Then issues in the foundations and getting to the peak. What are the issues came? What are the thoughts came as the founders of this exact science is called, and then how they got a hint towards marching towards consciousness or transcendence. Okay. First, introduction. So what is the idea? How we have developed our structure of knowing reality. Means, I am here today in this world, and I want to know why this universe is there, why at all everything is there, why at all I am there, right? So this quest which is the root of modern science, which is a genuine, actually how the modern science started with, to know the universe, to know the phenomena behind, why at all these things are there. So what we did, to know this reality around us, we formed a methodology, a structure, a system to know this reality. What is that system we started with? Earlier, if you see our traditions, we had a very different system of knowing reality. Last 500 years, things changed. I'll show you how things started. You see this famous book, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, Principia Mathematica, very famous, right? Everybody knows Newton's famous 3 volumes. Now you see the title of this, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy. You want to understand from the very beginning, Principia Mathematica, right? You want to understand the philosophical aspects, the reality aspects using mathematics. The very beginning has started. You have chosen a clear road now. You want to know reality, but you have chosen a road through mathematics. There are many involved. I am just taking Newton as the key point. There are many others with him at that time. So do not feel bad about it. So this is a one of the critical times in our modern science where we started this route to understand reality through mathematization of nature. What I mean by this is, for example, suppose in my hand nerve is there, right? Vein. So you take a vein, okay, the blood is flowing. Now I want to understand how this blood is flowing. I can control the pressure, I can control the BP to comprehend the phenomena, to manage the phenomena, to improve the phenomena. So how do I understand this phenomena in the blood flow in the nerve? What I do? I model it. I model a pipe. Okay? There is a flow. You apply fluid dynamics there. Right? You take a cross section. You make a small element dx, dy, dz. Integrate it over the surface area, then integrate it overall, and apply your Navier-Stokes equation or whatever equation. Different equations in different fields. So you model it and finally come to a form of equations. Okay, dx, dy, dz, this equal to whatever. So this is called mathematization of nature. Means you have chosen a path of understanding reality through bringing down to mathematics. So you can right away question it. Is that sufficient? Is that really good enough? Can I describe the whole reality using a road of mathematics only? This is a big question. So I will go into this slowly, you see. Now, our fascination became so much you won't believe. I will tell you why. We found mathematics everywhere. Today, on this tiny board, in this limited board, with my XYZ axis, I am drawing a shape of ellipse. And this tiny structure here, ellipse, is modeled to the planet moving here in the earth. So it makes tremendous fascinating. I can talk big planets moving on just my tiny paper here without even much expenditure. It gives a fascination. Means mathematics is really working. So that is how, how the effectiveness of mathematics came. That's how we got constrained and attracted and lost in this way of path of knowing reality. Ellipse. You have a tiny ellipse, planet's motion you can describe on your paper, right? These are small examples, but very milestone examples in modern day science. Symmetry, quarks prediction, Gell-Mann and G. Right? In mathematics you have groups, like in normal day, normal language we talk symmetry. Similarly in mathematics there is a symmetry group theory. There the concept of symmetry from mathematics was used by Gell-Mann to predict the quarks and finally they were found. So it became perfect. Wow, it is really working, the mathematical things. We all know non-Euclidean geometry. I will describe it later. That geometry which was developed later after Euclid, Riemann and others, the non-Euclidean, spherical, bigger, other dimension geometries. Einstein used this geometry to develop GTR. And GTR is a very well known and established thing in theory, right? So, and then the Kac-Moody algebras, string theory uses. So, this path of knowing reality through mathematics has become a strong conviction in all of us that it really works and we can really know the reality. You see the crux of the matter. And it is not a joke. These are all well established things. We cannot challenge all this. It works. Okay, having said that, so in now when you go into the development of mathematics in the last 500 years, on one side, beautiful tools developed, non-Euclidean geometry, Kac-Mood algebras, tremendous topology development, tremendous development, and you have beautiful tools and you can describe so much and develop your engineering problems, your technological problems, tremendous. And today, one mathematician does not know what second mathematician is working in which area. So much development. Nobody can claim that I know the other person what he is working. Mathematics is such a field. Physics, even you can read some papers and understand. Even reading other person paper, another field in mathematics becomes very tough. So this is a big universe now. But as the mathematics developed, other things also happened parallelly. Very beautiful, interesting things started entering in mathematics. I will show you slowly what are the strange entries. And the very roots of mathematics were started coming in question. Foundation means, generally the word foundation, the word here means root, like the foundation of this building, right? There the foundation course is our education, not that foundational beginning. This is a root. So they started seeing the problems in the roots, and these root problems hinted them towards say transcendental things or spiritual things which you talk about. That's a beautiful thing. I'll show you slowly. And find it. All these things already happened, and the founders know it. Unfortunately, we don't know it. That's the beauty. Because why we don't know? It is out of the system, out of the education, out of any PhD thesis. Who is interested? Because no job by they doing on this area. Okay, this is just to make you laugh, otherwise it becomes too boring. In mathematics we have beautiful words used so that you become little lively. Soul theorem, I don't know what is this soul theorem, but this soul theorem is there in mathematics. Okay, transcendental numbers. Transcendental words, the beautiful words are used. Transcendental, they are really transcendental. Pi, E, they are called transcendental. The words, interesting is the terminology. Cardinals. It is not like a Vatican cardinals, no? In Vatican we have cardinals, Christianity. Barber's paradox. No barber is involved, but paradoxes are there. Functions. We use the word functions. It is not your birthday function or your marriage function. There is a dy dx functions. So, and relations. It is not your brother, mother, father relationship. So, but the words are interesting used. So, you can this is also area, but just for your amusement I was showing. Okay. So what is the other side of developments? Let me show you one by one. We enter the other side of the strange entries in mathematics. You see, or I can show you like this. I walk 1 meter here, and then I walk 1 meter here, and here to here I can easily walk, right? What is the problem? It's a right angle triangle. One here, and then I can walk. But this hypotenuse is root 2. It is not a finite. It is not a fixed number. 1, 4, tick, 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 tick. It goes up to infinity. It is beyond my rationality. Why? See, that is why it's called irrational numbers. It is not rational. I take one step here, one step there. Why this infinite series is coming in this tiny block? And one interesting thing we tell you, as mathematicians themselves tell this. Actually, we are in our classes made and habituated to use mathematics. We are not trained to question mathematics. Like बचपन से हमें क्या है? Okay, this is a triangle, root 2. But why this root 2? This is beyond my common day experience, right? Why it should become an irrational and infinite series? I can just walk and walk. So that is why this became a problem. Irrational numbers was a big issue in mathematics, and they are still the issues. We don't know them, what they mean. We use them. Fine. Irrational numbers, okay, some rationality you can expect, 1 and 2 is involved. Imaginary numbers, this is completely beyond the grasp of human mind. You are talking of root of -1. What you have in this world which is connected to, which is you can connect with root of -1? Anything you have in this world? Tell me. Anything you have which you can connect to root of -1? Time. Both are unknown. Every week there is a conference in different parts of Europe, in America, about space and time. Nobody knows. This is a big issue in modern science. All theories are based on understanding space and time, and we don't know them. We also had last year our summer school on space and time. So this imaginary number, see, in our बच्चों को ना हम लोग we teach in our classes, भाई इमेजिनरी, ये इमेजिनरी एक्सिस है, ये रियल एक्सिस है, ऐसे करके. इसका मतलब क्या है? What is meaning of this? इमेजिनेशन तो कुछ है, कुछ नहीं इस दुनिया में. So this becomes a big issue. If you see the history of mathematics, people do not want to accept this imaginary number. Why? Because it has no correspondence with reality. And today, imaginary number I sits everywhere. Schrodinger equation, this equation, every field I is sitting, and we don't know what is I. Take it seriously, very seriously. Because my goal here is to arouse the questions which you have not asked earlier. Because our training is to get habituated to use them, not to question them. Mathematicians themselves discuss. And the most destructive and not destructive, the most infinity. See, this infinity, as infinity entered mathematics, and there was so much hue and cry in mathematicians, no, infinity should not be part of mathematics. And infinity entered. What is the problem in infinity? We don't know what it is. And we use it day and night, and because infinity, so many issues came. You integrate 0 to infinity, right? Fx dx. You integrate it, put boundary condition, get some result. But what is this infinity? Nobody knows on the planet. At least mathematics we don't know. I mean to say, I am talking now of mathematics. So these strange entities, I am giving a very important milestones. But this is not the whole story. These strange entries build so much what you call so much issues in the mathematics, and they push the mathematics boundaries much beyond which we could even imagine. Because these things took you something you cannot even comprehend. Now, if you get a solution to some quadratic equation or algebra, some 2 plus 3i, what does it all mean for me? Okay, I solve it. That is why many mathematicians say we don't need to understand it, just do it. ये तो science नहीं है. That we don't understand. And not me, I'll show you how mathematicians are not satisfied with this. That's why the questions of the foundation started. Okay, note these points. These are important points. These entries led to many important things. This is one. This is a big revolution in mathematics development. That we started with Euclidean geometry means I assumed that the space is flat two-dimensional place like this board, and my axis is like this, x, y, z, whatever, and my right triangle is like this. This was Euclidean geometry, 300 BC, around the famous book Elements. Okay, And this was going on normal simple geometry, which we all in childhood read. But then Euclid had 5 postulates, which many of you have heard. The 5th postulate was questioned. Postulate means the axiom, the assumption. The 5th assumption was questioned, and many people, including one of the famous is Riemann and others, of course. Then you started that he said that no, this last postulate is not correct. There could be a triangle. In the space, we could have a spherical geometry, and the triangle could have more than 180 degree. All those things, there are various ways of putting it. The idea is that this was a big revolution. Then you had a completely new set of geometry, spherical geometry, hyperbolic geometry, and all the properties are very different. So this was a big revolution in mathematics, which mathematicians know, and it completely changed. And because of this, you had revolution in physics. This is a very important point to note. Actually, why mathematics is important? Because as I was showing you how to model a flow in a nerve, blood flow, the physics, most of the physics, they derive their basic notions from mathematics. Actually, that's what happened. When we were doing our founder, he wanted to do our team. He envisioned that we should do work on quantum mechanics, foundations of quantum mechanics, and we started working on it. A lot of scholars, monks were involved, and we had internal colloquiums, discussions, and we went to the history how the quantum mechanics developed through Schrödinger, through Heisenberg, different parallel things, and all those very beautiful. But while going through all these quantum mechanics developments and all, we realized that most of the notions which they use, they just take it from mathematics. And that clicked us that we should go further into mathematics. And already he hinted earlier, founder, that we should work. He gave the names of the mathematicians also, which are important. So that triggered our journey into mathematics, and so much came out slowly. And then we started going into that field, meeting the mathematicians around the planet, into the which are working and which have been working in the foundations of mathematics. Had a conference, met the scholars in their conference. Then slowly, all this started coming, and it was a big thing. So idea is that the things which happen in mathematics and physics uses it right away. So Einstein used to put his GTR using non-Euclidean geometry. Now, this is a normal revolution. The revolution which is not known, I'll tell you that next. This is called, this is the next revolution, one side. So, on one side we had strange entries coming. Now, there was a person, he was a Dutch mathematician, Brouwer. His full name is, I don't know how to exactly pronounce it, Lejean Egbertus Jan Brouwer, L.E.J. Brouwer. You know, like when from Euclidean to non-Euclidean geometry, it did not happen once, immediately, like Riemann did not just give the non-Euclidean geometry. First, Gauss and many mathematicians start questioning the Euclidean geometry. And later, these people come and put it on the paper, right? Same thing started happening in the foundations of mathematics. This Brouwer questioned the foundation of mathematics. And this person becomes a very important person in the history of mathematics. To put in summary, what he put it is that mathematics is incomplete without consciousness. It is not a philosophical claim. It is a mathematical claim. That's a very beautiful thing. What he said, I will show you little glimpse of all those things. How he did, what he did. Because his work is basically the questioning the foundation. And later it was established. And this is around the most of the works, actually if you see the beginning of 20th century, most of the things are already clear that we don't know. Okay, so Brouwer, we went to actually Brouwer's place in Netherlands. We went to his students, his place, his house, everything. Now Brouwer is no more, but all his followers further. We went to all these people. So Brouwer, what happened was that he did his PhD. His PhD topic was on the foundations of mathematics. Now, interesting thing. This word, foundations of mathematics. These were the subtopics, the areas in this: building of mathematics, mathematics and experience, mathematics and logic. This foundations of mathematics, this topic, which is basically the root of mathematics, right? Slowly, this topic has been moved away. Maybe I will tell you later how and where. So Brouwer he questioned the foundations, and he developed a parallel mathematics called intuitionistic mathematics. Very, very big area. Okay, I'll tell you little bit, just introducing the term, then you will see all those. What is the intuition in mathematics? What Brouwer questioned, I'll one by one show you. First, Brouwer questioned this principle, excluded middle principle, everybody knows. This is a famous principle, right? Principle excluded middle means either P is true or not P is true. Okay. So and this is one of the very foundational principle in mathematics. We use this, and we use same thing in computer science to prove something. You want to prove some statement or something. Okay, you prove negative of it, and then show that it is negative is false. Then you make it true, right? So either P is true or not P is true. So there is no middle, excluded middle. Middle is not acceptable. This side or that side. That is the principle in mathematics. Brouwer questioned this principle. He said this principle is not true. You know what is the meaning of questioning this principle? You are questioning the thousands and crores of proofs which whole mathematics is using to develop that. Why he questioned it? What is question? His question is this. He gave example, not a proof. Proof will come later. He said, for example, in pi, pi 3.14 this, right? It goes up infinity series. Can you answer a question whether at any time 4 sevens will come? You expand it to 1 million using computers, you expand to 10 million, neither you can say yes nor you can say no. Because you don't know whether it will come or not. It is questioned. Neither you can say yes, nor you can say true, nor you can say false. This is the example. He questioned why using this example. That there are questions in mathematics which you will not be able to say true or false. So, once this principle is questioned, actually whole mathematics and mathematicians, and it is a big shaking. And the leader of the shaking was Hilbert. Well, and then people started worrying, how can we renounce all the proofs and so much hard work we have done? It is not possible, because they do work. At the same time, what Brouwer is mentioning, it is a black and white thing. This is a simple thing. And Brouwer published 40 papers in this area. It is amazing. It is not, but Problem was, what Brouwer was saying is not something you can falsify it. It is a evident and proper published work. And for simplicity's sake, I am just saying this example. It is further. So the issue became a big issue. Neither I am able to leave the exclusive principle, nor I am able to live with it. With this is the beginning. This is the first thing, intuitionistic mathematics. In fact, later people came to realization that both has to go together. Neither you will be able to leave logic and formalism, nor you will be able to leave intuitionism. Both work wonderfully. Like in your life, both has to go. Your day-to-day life as well as questioning the ultimate reality. If you stitch to one side, it will not be satisfying. Two sides of the coin, right? One side is your day-to-day life. You need breakfast, but that is not sufficient. You need your emotions. You need to find out who am I, where I am come from, because death is approaching, right? So both sides of the life are important. Similarly, mathematicians realize it is not possible. Both are required. Further, you see, what are numbers? ये तो बहुत गहरा सब्जेक्ट है. ये बुक है डेडकिन, you might have heard, a famous mathematician. What are numbers and what they could really be. तो अभी देखो, we are trained nicely to count, to learn the table from childhood, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, right? कभी क्वेश्चन किया? Whether we ever question what is number? That is a mathematics. We are trained and made habituated to use it. Where is the coming of question? No, we don't require question. But mathematicians don't get satisfied like we. They question. So, what are numbers? I'll tell you what is actually the issue. How exactly the issue, to put it more simply. And there was another Dutchman, Manuri, same in Netherlands. He had a book called Mathematics and Mysticism, and he put this question. This is now available in English. He put this question in his chapter, in his book. Can you really prove 2 plus 2 equal to 4? This Brouwer further worked on it, developed it. What is the issue? What is the issue with proving 2 plus 2 equal to 4? Can we really prove 2 plus 2 equal to 4? Now it looks very childish, na? For now. So what is the issue? Can anybody guess? Right. लेंथ की जाने की क्या जरूरत है? 2 उंगली हो गए 4 ना. इसलिए इतना सिंपल नहीं है. To prove 2 plus 2 equal to 4, to what it is, you have to first define what is 2, and you have to define what is plus. Then only you can proceed, na? This is a tough job. Let us go to simple. What is 2? What is 2?
Number. 2 is 1 plus 1.
Okay, and?
2 answers, 1 is number, another is 1 plus 1. It's an arbitrary number.
Huh?
It's an arbitrary number.
Arbitrary number. Sir has put an adjective on number, arbitrary number. Okay, and? देखा हम लोग कितना कंडीशन कर दिया गया. आज तक सोचा नहीं ना. अरे अभी जीवन खत्म होने आ रहा है, लेकिन कभी पूछा नहीं कि 2 क्या है. और 2 को यूज किया 50 साल 60 साल. कोई और ट्राई एक बार और? वन मोर ट्रायल. काउंटेबल नंबर सब लोग एडजेक्टिव लगा रहे हैं उसमें. देखो there are two things in 2. One is the shape. No problem. Shape is not a problem. In Urdu you can put like this, or in Chinese you can put like this, whatever. Shape is not a big thing. You can do it this way, that way. This. Another is the meaning of 2. The two-ness. This is a question. How do I know the meaning of 2? Mind it, computer does not know the meaning of 2. You know the meaning of 2. And actually this goes much deeper. Even without education you know the meaning of 2. It goes very deep. A child when born without going to school, mother, father and third person, 1, 2, 3, already counting has started. It goes deep. Sir, here Brouwer hit. Well, this is where your mathematics is lacking. You know the meaning of 2 is inbuilt in you. You know intuitively. You cannot dig beyond that point. That is how whole intuitionistic mathematics term came. I'll show you. Now, same question. How do you really define a number? So this is the crux of whole thing. That meaning actually is not on paper. Meaning is in consciousness. That is the crux of whole issue of mathematics. Brouwer had put this two-ness, it does not depend on any further thing. And see, interesting. Now there will be further developments. It is not that mathematicians will sit silently. You don't think that they are so easily they will sit down. Next, they try to define. Not so easy, but still they will try to define it. Okay. Before that, so this the word which Brouwer uses, intuitionism or intuitionistic mathematics. That's very important to understand. This is not an intuition of type like you get sudden insight. This is intuitively I know, obviousness or inbuilt in me, the meaning aspect of it. And numbers are like atoms of mathematics. So this meaning, the seat of this meaning, where it lies, Brouwer questioned it, and he said, that is why your mathematics is incomplete unless you bring in consciousness inside. You are using 2 but without completely defining the 2. So Brouwer started with this whole developing this intuitionistic mathematics, that this formal logical mathematics which you use is useful but is incomplete. And the most fundamental knowledge we have, if this requires little bit meditation, minimum we all know that I exist. This is the most basic intuitive knowledge we have. I talk about this pen only after I know that I exist. Then only this will exist for me, right? So that's what, and this is not the last. If one practices spiritual discipline, he will know what actually I am and what is God and what is my relation. It goes deeper and deeper. But basic using mathematics, Brouwer came to this point. So there are beautiful. So this root inbuilt, that two-ness which I was telling, where it is inbuilt? The question is, कहाँ पे है ये? Where in me? In my sodium potassium ion, in my neuron? Where it is inbuilt? That is what consciousness comes in. That is how, if you see the beauty of foundations of our modern science, exactly like when we went into foundations of quantum mechanics, consciousness comes out. For a genuine seeker, no problem, he will see it right away. And people put it also in papers. Similarly, in mathematics, consciousness comes out. But this is lesser known. Quantum mechanics become very famous. There are millions of books today on quantum mechanics and consciousness, but these are lesser known. But this field works. There are thousands and lakhs of papers published in intuitionist mathematics. And today there are people still working in this field. In Netherlands, in America, so many mathematicians still in this field working. And I will show you so much papers published in this still. Okay, you see how when I questioned you the question of numbers, we were in numbers. What they did? How do you define a number? Suppose x or a number 2 or anything. They tried to using set theory. Further set theory developed and they use set theory to define numbers. Mathematics students will know how they define. But the very question of set, you see the definition of set. This itself involves intuitiveness. How do you define a set? A set is a gathering together into a whole of definite, distinct objects of our perception, which we intuitively know. How you are going to get away from there? Means you will not be able to leave your own consciousness or the consciousness in any concept to understand that. So set theory, many people ask this latter question, but same issue will come there. In fact, if you deeply see the very same point, the very collection of objects, already numbering is coming here, 1, 2, 3, right? How will you define a set first? So you are already intuitively separating 2, 3 things. There a numbering come immediately. So same thing comes in to put it simply, that the meaning of an item, how do we understand the meaning of an item is, we try to understand meaning of an item using some simpler meaning. That simpler meaning you try to understand through a further simpler meaning, and finally you will rest on something which is inbuilt, which you say, yes, this I know. Like for example, I questioned you about the numbers, so it is so fundamental that there is no questions asked about it. In fact, you can go on. Actually, I will later tell you. So this intuitive thing brings to consciousness, and then it went on and on and on. This history, like in quantum mechanics, Heisenberg published famous book Physics and Philosophy. After all this, getting amazed and surprised with the development of quantum mechanics, Brouwer published a small book, Life, Art and Mysticism. Of course, many other papers, consciousness and mathematics, consciousness, philosophy and mathematics, so much. Very beautiful thing. He talks exactly, precisely how we have been lost. How we have been lost in the development of modern science. Exactly like Schrödinger, Heisenberg talks in physics. Means, what he says, like Schrödinger said, when you started modern science in the beginning, you had minus all everything, yourself, consciousness, soul, God, whatever. Later when you moved on, the issues started coming. Now you realize I should bring it back. Schrödinger says this. If you see the book My View of the World and Return to Ancient Greeks, something, Return to Nature, something. You browse Schrödinger books, he vividly says why so much problems are coming in modern physics. So because we cut out, same thing actually our Brouwer says, that we removed the things, consciousness and all, and now foundational issues are coming in mathematics. So these are the books, letter on Brouwer. This Dirk van Dalen is a person in the Netherlands. He is a student of Brouwer. And he is almost like last part of his life, very elderly, 85, 90. We met him in his house. He took us to all the Brouwer places, his works. He gave us his books, papers. See the subtitle. How mathematics is rooted in life. And this is Brouwer was a famous topologist. He was well established topologist in the field of topology. Means he published so much work, and then intuitionist philosopher.
One question.
Maybe just finish it and then that will break the flow. Intuitionism and formalism. This is Brouwer paper, and there are so much papers on this. I will not. It is a link. It goes to PDF file. All the Brouwer's papers, you can browse it. Intuitionism papers and all this. So much work on that. And then he started Reformation, developing this parallel mathematics, intuitionist mathematics. Nobody could stop it. He made his own concept of dimension. He defined new definition of set so much. Brouwer, and as you know that after this consciousness and all, very clear, he got attracted towards spiritual things. It was very clear for him. And then what happened was, there was a student, Hermann Weyl. Many of you must be knowing. Weyl he has many theorems in his name. German mathematician. So he was a student of Hilbert. He got attracted to Brouwer, and then there was so much conversation started with so many things started. There was a whole kind of flood in the mathematical field. While Weyl started supporting that if really the foundation of mathematics is consciousness, this intuition or whatever you say, intuitive things, then that means we are really missing something. And so much, this is a communication started. And this is one of them you can go through that you cannot cut out now. So some of these major areas, and besides that, parallelly at that time, paradoxes like this statement is false, whether it is true or false. If you put in computer, it runs into an infinite loop. But you can know whether it is false or true. So this statement, these paradoxes, liar's paradox, they are not resolvable without bringing in consciousness. So like that, there are many other paradoxes. So the ultimate final settlement was brought it by a brilliant mathematician called Gödel. Gödel was from a small country, Austria. He gave Gödel's incompleteness theorems. This is 1931. Very brilliant, big proof. I think our Swamiji there is a small booklet of proof basically on formally undecidable propositions of Principia Mathematica and relative system. Swamiji will explain. Basically, Brouwer expressed, Gödel said yes, mathematics is incomplete. He formally established it. And after that, it becomes very clear. And people, so how whole this like from Euclid to Riemann and non-Euclidean, non-Euclidean, similarly from Hilbert to Brouwer who questioned, and finally Gödel settled it that without consciousness mathematics is incomplete. This is the basic journey of so all these things, paradoxes, Gödel's incompleteness theorems, incompleteness, this word incompleteness, right? Meaning, this all if you go deeply, they all finally come back down to a question of self-reference, like Liar's paradox. And self-reference basically brings only to consciousness, nothing else. Now you cannot resolve this loop without consciousness, because you can know that you know that you exist, but computer does not know. So this loop gets resolved only in that. So you can go through. This is a very beautiful book, Foundations of Set Theory. Franklin and others, they worked a lot. And there are many others, but one of the very huge, even like very exhaustive work, which is with somebody interested in foundations, he can explore. Princeton Companion gives you a small glimpse and gives you a basic idea of mathematical fields and all, but gives you a glimpse also into open-mindedly work done by this. Timothy is a field medalist from Harvard, I think. And so you can go through more publications, and we have a book last year we had a conference and book on consciousness. Yeah. So I think I end this in this. So basic idea is that I think you have got it, that the thing which we experience in quantum physics, in the development of quantum physics, same thing happened in mathematics. And now, the next part, very beautiful part. Now, you see, like me, I listened it and I little question it, but I stopped there. But mathematicians don't stop there. They understood that mathematics is incomplete. Some consciousness or whatever name you want to give, something is there, higher things which we have to bring in. They started working on that. They started working on God. They started working on consciousness mathematically. This is the next presentation. We'll show you tomorrow, day after, whenever it is. Mathematicians working on the spiritual elements, and even up to a point of trying to put a form of a small proof also. It is not, nobody can put an exact kind of formal proof for these things, but I was amazed. Means they don't stop. Once they get the hint, and you see this wheel, this person, many mathematicians, after undergoing the foundations of mathematics, even left mathematics. I will show you next slide. Left means they understood that the root somewhere else is lying. Then they went into that field. Same like in physics, in development quantum physics, this Pauli and all went from physics to psychology. Same, these people started going to spiritual elements. That I will show you what they did after undergoing these thorough works on the other side, next side of their spiritual sides, God, soul, consciousness. So I end here, and I thank you for patiently listening to my useless words. Thank you.
So thank you, Swamiji, for such beautiful revelations. So any question from the audience?
Now there.
Okay. Please.
Consciousness, what you are talking about.
Yes. Now we can take.
This consciousness, is it an outside or inside phenomenon of human being?
You want to know mathematically or normal, just like that?
I mean, either way.
Okay. From physics, from mathematics, this gives you a hint that there is something like consciousness, which is beyond. Outside. I don't know. Okay, let me come. Sorry. I'll come. Beyond means beyond normal physical or material reality. Means, like in physics, when you physics, basically this whole quantum physics, the wave function, then it requires further. Finally, somebody has to collapse the wave function. Somebody has to make a decision, like you say, in decision making. Who makes a decision of an action? Observer, right? So that observer has to be beyond this physical, or because everything in this brain, everything can be explained using wave function. I can put it in the form of wave. So it is like I walk out of the door, and there are so many options, possibilities. Which possibility I choose, and who chooses? That's the basic question. Who chooses? So that means there is something there, here. Same thing in mathematics. Mathematics gives you a hint about consciousness. There is something beyond, but does not tell you what it is. This itself is a big gift for a seeker. Now, as per our spiritual traditions, this consciousness field has really developed last 5 decades, from 1960s, 70s. Tremendous. It has come In fact, you will see every field today has this issue. Artificial intelligence is issue of consciousness. Law has a field of issue of consciousness. Neuroscience has issue of consciousness. Physics, mathematics are related. Biology has issue of consciousness. Psychology has issue of consciousness. Every issue, every discipline. So in Vedic tradition, in Vedic wisdom, consciousness is defined as a property of the soul. Atma. Soul means I, the Atma, whatever word you want to use, self or the person who is speaking, really.
Kind of a field of.
Yeah, we have to get a little bit more because our usual training is you want to mathematize or visualize using some kind of equations, and that may not fully work. So we hold it that much, that I am that soul, I am this tiny small soul, and my property is consciousness. That much. And actually I have many other properties. This is good. Monks should, spiritualists should thank physics and mathematics. They have shown clear way to consciousness. Now next, Sat Chit Anand, no? Happiness is there. So many properties of soul. Yes. कुछ छोटा सा क्वेश्चन पूछेगा.
ज़्यादा नहीं मुझे. छोटा नहीं. वही देख के Is there a branch of mathematics dealing with the elements of consciousness, how when they come together, how they interact?
Branch of mathematics. No, that much development is no idea. Only hint, like quantum physics, no idea about consciousness. Just hint, there's something in there. That's all.
When we in quantum physics, we talk about that statistics.
अच्छा आप जो कह रहे थे, okay.
But do we have any such thing?
No, nothing as such. Actually, this is one of the purpose of bringing this field in India. Actually, to tell you frankly, this field is very in India. Hardly anybody works. Outside they work. In Europe, people know about intuitionist mathematics. In America, still papers are published. Once this field comes to India, and everybody has a spiritual background in India, person is born, you will see how much development will happen. That is the reason we did last year conference, bringing scholars from Europe. So this field, Mundaji, has to develop, and probably you can support development of that field.
Another question, sir. Is consciousness wavelength?
Very nice point.
When we say we are on the same wavelength.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Wavelength and frequency both.
Yeah, actually, हमारे scientists लोग बहुत intelligent हैं, मालूम है? Of course, everybody. You are also intelligent. Everybody is intelligent. You know this word, wave-like. देख रहे हैं ये 2 वर्ड का वर्ड बना दिया है इन लोगों ने. ये बहुत चालू है. वेव नहीं है, वेव लाइक. इसका भी हिस्ट्री है. हु स्टार्टेड दिस वर्ड्स? तो वेव लाइक, यस. वेव, डोंट नो. Answer is this. So how I say wave like? That is very simple. My mind, your mind, we can see, we talk, we already use the words. मेरा तुम्हारा frequency match करता है ना? आप कहते हैं ना? Resonance है मेरा. तो mind actually, if you really see this quantum mechanics में जो बात करते हैं ना wave function वगैरह, if you गहराई में जाओगे तो हमारे चीज़ों में ये सब है शास्त्रों में. हाँ, अभी उसमें इतना नहीं जाएंगे because it becomes too much more than what we really can know and properly put it. So this much is clear. If you want to use the word wave like, yes, we can put for mind, even for consciousness also you can put, but exact wave we don't know. This we can say.
And as soon as we say wave like, then resonance
will come. Yes, so two like-minded people, same words flock together.
When wave height increases, potentiality increases.
That's how a field develops. Now we can develop consciousness field.
So together they develop more.
Together develop. Sure.
And similar question will become whether they are fields, whether is it having a field.
हाँ, वो वो बड़ा झंझट वाला क्वेश्चन है कि जो क्या है ना, ये फिजिक्स में जो डेवलपमेंट्स हुए ना, ये दिस फील्ड, जो कंसेप्ट है ना फील्ड का, ये अभी नहीं जाएंगे उसमें, बहुत है वो बहुत झंझट है उसमें फिर। हाँ बहुत झंझट,
उसके बाद मैं पूछूंगा एडवर्टाइजमेंट लॉ एप्लीकेबल है क्या?
हाँ। सो ओके, यस, यस।
Basically, mathematics is established on some axioms that we don't know. Suppose Euclid, when developed, he wanted to, did not mean what is area is, or the number. We cannot explain what is area. We can it is the area is beyond our explanation, but we are integrating or finding some area. Similarly, we assume the numbers. The natural, where many mathematicians, they thought that the God created the natural numbers, but maybe when the numbers created, maybe it come from counting. 1, 2, the numbers came. But I ask you, sir, when the number 0 or -1 discovered, what is the meaning of this?
Very, very good.
How we define not only imaginary numbers, we can use negative numbers like as negative direction in physical world.
Right.
But how we define 0?
Yeah, okay. हाँ, वैसे तो जीरो आपके यहीं से आया है ना, शायद कहते हैं ना, राइट? सो द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज योर काउंटिंग थिंग. यू हैव टू लिटिल बिट गो बैक एंड थिंक व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय काउंटिंग. एक्चुअली हमें बचपन से ऐसे ही पढ़ाया जाता है ना, नंबर्स कैसे आए, याद है हिस्ट्री बचपन में? दैट्स हाउ वी आर टॉट. व्हाट इज काउंटिंग? काउंटिंग इटसेल्फ इन्वॉल्व नंबर. What we are talking today about numbers is not actually the numbers. We are talking about the way you distinguish two things. 1, 2 is the two-ness which I was mentioning. It is little, you meditate about this. So as far as the counting is concerned, set is a much abstract phenomena than counting. Even set itself fails. So all those things which we use to tell or understand actually involves numbers already. That is one part, the beginning part of counting part. Second part is that yes, minus when negative numbers came, I did not mention it in the slide. Same like irrational numbers, there was a lot of issues. Why should be negative? I can talk about 2 apples, but what is the meaning of minus 2 apples, right? But some sense still was there. If I have 4 apples, then if 2 are lost, so I have left 2. So I can say minus 2. Some connection with reality was still there. So negative numbers were an issue, but not that issue like imaginary numbers and infinity. This became much bigger the issue. As far as 0 is concerned, so but negative numbers are part of the revolution, part of the issue. As far as 0 is concerned, we don't know what is 2. So how will you know what is 0? You don't know. Answer is simple. Using mathematics.
So what is why we define 0?
That's why we don't know how to define it. That is the question. Why we don't know? Go more deeper. Let us go more deeper. One more point. ये जो हमारा गलत आदत पड़ गया है ना डिफाइन करने का चीजों को, डिफाइन ए थिंग, डिफाइन ए डेफिनेशन, ये जो बहुत शुरू से बचपन से ट्रेन किया ना हम लोग को डेफिनेशन का, दिस डिफाइनिंग इटसेल्फ इन्वॉल्व विदाउट कॉन्शियसनेस यू कैन नॉट डिफाइन एनीथिंग. दिस इज द रूट ऑफ द इशू. पकड़ लिए? तो इसलिए जो इस धरती पे पढ़ाया समझाया चेतना वो सब आएगा लौट के, एक्चुअली बचेगा नहीं वो. इसलिए आई वांट दैट साइंस प्रोग्रेस, बिकॉज वंस दे प्रोग्रेस दे विल नो हाउ टू ब्रिंग इन. An example was given by Heisenberg in the last pages of his Physics and Philosophy. He said, that was 50 years back in 1940s, like in mathematics, you don't know infinity, but you use it. Similarly, one day will come that you will use concepts which are taught in Eastern philosophy like soul, God, even if you don't know them. In science. You getting some point? Mundaraji.
Ask question. Ask
Hare Krishna. Like how we should understand that computers are able to calculate, play with numbers. How they are able to, because they are, even in calculator if you type, you will get, it's doing calculations. Even by whatever presentation you have given. So can you?
See, there is a difference between वैसे तो हाँ हरे कृष्ण बहुत बहुत आप इतना टाइम दिए बहुत धन्यवाद बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको देख के मुझे एनर्जी आया
आप करते रहिए
हाँ नहीं आपका श्योर that is the point, that is the whole crux of the point. Is one is the number or the calculation, one is knowing the meaning of that thing. There are two things. Meaning is in you, number is in calculator. You get the point? Means any concept, whether number, calculation, whatever, any concept, you take concept of force, anything in calculation, finally there one part will come out meaning. Calculator does calculation but does not know the meaning. You know the meaning. That's why it still lacks something which we call consciousness. Meaning basically boils down to consciousness part. So similarly robot may have a retina, a glass and moves here and there. They make Einstein's robot. Is robot seeing? You see what that's seeing. Consciousness, you derive the meaning, you perceive, you experience. Robot, though it sees but does not see. Get the point?
Without understanding how machines are able to calculate.
That is because your understanding you are putting there. See, computer को क्या फर्क पड़ता है? You make $1 billion or you make 0.000. For him, what does it matter? But for you, it makes a lot of difference. Huh? $1 billion means you will go another day, tomorrow another day.
Can I make small comment?
Sure.
This is a simple spring weighing machine. Right? You put 2 kilo, it will show 2. You put 1 more 2 kg, it will show 4. Is the machine calculating 2 plus 2 or not? You meditate on this, you don't need computer. This machine is not calculating, it has its physical properties. Of whatever you put here, it will show additive weight, that is its physical property. But it is you who have the concept of 2 and additive, and you understand that this physical property has additive property, so let me use it for addition. I think if you meditate, you will know more about it.
Very nice. Very nice example, Mark. Means, I think we should. Okay.